This week on the Center of It All, it's all about the holidays, so let's get started. Good morning and welcome to the Center of It All. Everywhere you look now, you see Christmas decorations, and when you drive through Lakemont Park, it's like going through a winter wonderland. The daylight is where it all starts, in August. Prep work begins with a process called bulbing, checking each individual light bulb on every display and replacing ones that need it. Then come the weeks of setting up each display, all done by only 12 people, working right up until the week before the lights open. And the real magic happens when it gets dark. The whole park is lit up with displays of Christmas, and people, not just here in central Pennsylvania, come to enjoy the sight of millions of lights.
It's really great to know that a lot of people come. We do get a lot of people from out of the state as well. We've had all 50 states, including Canada, come through, and everybody makes it an annual tradition. A tradition that has happened for years. This year is the 20th anniversary of the Lakemont Lights, and they say they have the community to thank. We usually get people that come right away. Some people make it their tradition to be the first person through, some the last. Some like to always come on Christmas or Thanksgiving. I'd say we'd see about 16,000 cars annually. It's a nice event that they can come to spend the holiday. It's really nice that it's local and you don't have to drive a few hours to see something like this. But it doesn't end with the lights. At the end of your drive, you can see Santa and take a look at a model train as it zooms around the tracks. And the light display is updated every couple years to keep people coming back and to keep the spirit of Christmas alive at Lakemont Park. The fact that we keep changing it every couple years, that keeps it fresh and renewed. The lights will be open Christmas Day from 6 until 10 p.m. When we come back, we start thinking about the new year. Welcome back to the Center of It All. Now we are joined in studio with Rick Bryant. Now Rick's going to talk to us a little bit about first night. So Rick, for somebody like me who hasn't been to downtown State College during the new year, what can people expect? What do you guys have planned this year?
Well, we have a lot of ice sculpture on the 100 block of South Allen Street. That's close to traffic, as it is during the Arts Festival. And we display giant ice sculpture walls there. We also have ice sculpture in Sidney Friedman Park and in front of the municipal building. We have a run that takes place at 6:30 p.m., so we close the streets for that. On New Year's Eve, we also have performances in local churches and the theaters. So you'll see a lot of people out on the street, all bundled up against the cold and enjoying good, clean fun, as we say.
And of course, with New Year's comes New Year's resolutions. I've never been very good at them, but I understand there's a resolution sculpture. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. We actually have a bunch of resolution sculptures, and they're a place where you can sort of declare your New Year's resolution publicly, and even better, get to enjoy other people's too. So it could be sort of a tree that you might hang something on. We have one called Edison's Clothesline, and it looks like a clothesline. It's lit up at night, and you write your resolution on a shiny silver disc, and it could say something like, I'll learn to eat broccoli, or I'm going to run a 5K or a marathon, or my favorite, be nicer to my boss. So, and you know, actually, State College is very multicultural, so a lot of the resolutions you'll see will be in a language that you don't understand. So it reminds us how diverse our community is.
That's great. So to be involved with these concerts and activities, you're telling me a little bit about these buttons. This is kind of like your ticket into everything. So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure.
How does this work?
A button is $10. It's available at lots of places in advance. It's also available at every performance venue. Once you buy the button, it's good for the whole day. You can go to as many concerts and performances as you like, as you can fit in your day. It's required by everybody over 12. So it's a good deal because you could see 5-6 things for your $10.
How many different kind of concerts and activities are going on?
I think we have about 40 concerts. So that's a rough estimate. So we have 3 really great variety performers in the Penn State Downtown Theater, the State Theater, and in the State College Municipal Building. And we have musical shows in the downtown churches. And each show has about, each church has 4 or 5 performers in it. So there's a wide variety of stuff to choose from.
Well, it sounds like so much fun. So when downtown State College is all decorated, the lights are up in the trees, what is that like? How does that set it apart from the whole rest of the year? What makes it worth seeing?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of twinkly lights in State College now, but we add more. We add a lot more because that's what people like with First Night State College. It's a great way to just make it look like Bedford Falls or some city in a movie, really. So it's worth coming downtown just to see the lights reflecting off the ice and everybody's eyes. It's great.
So where can people go to get kind of a full calendar list of everything that's being offered in that day?
Well, right now they can go to our website, which is firstnightstatecollege.com. So the full list of our activities is there. They can follow us on Facebook or Twitter. We're at First Night SC on Twitter. So they can also pick up a paper program guide. It's published by Town and Gown. It's available lots and lots of places in the center region, and they will also be available at every performance venue during the event.
All right, well, perfect, Rick. Thanks so much for joining us here and telling us a little bit about it. When we come back, now that we have our celebration plan for New Year's, Mel's going to talk to us about some food. Welcome back. This week, Mel has cooked up my favorite meal, and it can be used at any time of the year.
A little bird by the name of Alicia, on her first visit to my kitchen, just happened to mention that her favorite food group was casseroles, and her favorite casserole was her mother's tuna noodle. Well, I don't have her mother's recipe, but I do have a really good one, so I'm going to make it for her today. It's something I like to do when I get a sense that somebody on my WHVL team has a favorite food. Join me for a few minutes this morning while I make Alicia a tuna noodle casserole. Before our crew arrived this morning, I cooked and drained a half a box or 8 ounces of bow tie noodles. I cooked them al dente and I drained them really well because you want them to be free of moisture, not watery. So they've kind of been sitting out on my counter, kind of drying out for a little bit. Put them in a big bowl. I also drained a 12-inch can of solid white meat tuna, drained it really well. It's packed in water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my fingertips, break this into bite-sized pieces. Don't use a fork to chop it. Just make sure you keep all of your pieces as big as you can. You know, fork friendly, something that you would like to put in your mouth. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on top of the tuna. And I'm just going to spread it out a little bit so it moistens up the noodles just a little. And we're going to head over to the stove and make some creamy, dreamy, cheesy sauce. I make a thick and creamy cheese sauce with vegetables added to it to replace the typical cream of mushroom or cream of celery soup. This is really fast and it's really easy, and I know all your moms have tried and true recipes with the cream of soup, but give this a shot. You just might really like it. I've melted 4 tablespoons of butter in a wide bottom 4-quart skillet, and I'm going to season it with 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. And I use white pepper because white on white, that's what they always say, white sauce, white pepper. And I'm going to add 1/2 cup of diced onions, 1/2 cup of diced celery, nice small diced. You would find celery in cream of celery soup. And I'm just going to turn the heat up to medium-high and saute this, for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. I'm going to stir it pretty often through the process, just till the onions get soft and translucent, and the celery will be kind of cooked through. Okay, that's been about 1 minute. Onions are soft, celery is still crunch tender. Now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of frozen peas and carrots. I haven't even bothered to thaw them. And a 4.5 ounce jar of well-drained sliced mushrooms. Now I'm going to stir this for about 2 minutes, again, 1.5 to 2 minutes, until the vegetables, the frozen vegetables, are just thawed through. It's been about 2 minutes. My carrots are just fork tender, so that's perfect. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of flour. I'm using Wonder Flour, which is a granular flour which prevents lumps, but all-purpose flour is going to work just fine. So we're going to stir in this flour, and we're going to let this cook for a full minute. And the reason you want to take the time, the full minute, is because As the flour cooks, you won't have any floury flavor in your sauce after this is over. You're going to cook that flavor out. According to my timer, that's been a full minute. And now I'm adding 2 cups. I'm using half and half. You can use whole milk or cream. That is your choice. I'm going to add all of that. We'll adjust this to a simmer, and when it comes to a simmer, we're going to let this cook for another 1.5 minutes till 2 minutes until it starts to thicken. Okay, that's been about a minute, and this is about as thick as I want it at this point. You can see it's creamy, but it's still really drizzly. That's exactly what you're looking for. And now it's time to add our cheese. Now I'm using Provel, which is a mixture of Swiss and cheddar and provolone. We're going to add the cheese. Now we're going to lower this heat to take away our simmer, and we're just going to keep stirring this till we have a really rich and creamy cheese sauce. I'm going to turn off the heat, and we're going to head back to the counter and assemble our casserole. I've got my creamy sauce, creamy cheesy sauce, right off the stove and hot. And I'm just going to add all of this, every last ooey gooey drop, to the bowl with the noodles and the pasta. And again, that was 8 ounces of bow tie noodles and a 12-ounce can of tuna. Now I'm going to give this a thorough stir. We want to make sure that all of that pasta is enrobed in the sauce and all of those vegetables are evenly distributed. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side. Now I have an 11 by 7 by 2 inch baking dish. I'm going to add all of my tuna noodle mixture to the casserole that's been sprayed with a little bit of no stick spray. That's all in. I'm going to spread this evenly in the pan, then I'm going to clean up my dribbles and drips, and we're going to make our topping. Crispy topping couldn't be easier. I've melted 2 tablespoons of butter in this little container here, and I'm going to start adding breadcrumbs. Now I'm adding French bread style crumbs, which I really like a lot. Panko would work really great, and you can even use plain dry breadcrumbs to do this. And I'm going to start, I have 6 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, and I'm just going to slowly stir them into the butter. And you're going to need all of these. About 2 tablespoons at a time. I add them. Stir, stir, and stir till it's really mealy. That's great. And now there's only one way to do this perfectly, and that's with your fingertips. You take the topping and drizzle them all over the top. Just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm just going to wash my hands and pop this into a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Decorating, shopping, wrapping, baking, planning. The holidays sure can be stressful for the family cook. So take a tip from me. Take a step back and a deep breath too. Make the time to relax and enjoy a comforting casserole with your friends and family. From my kitchen to yours, and from me and everyone at WHVL-TV, happy holidays.
I've never had tuna casserole with a cheese sauce, but I have to say it was a great addition to the recipe. When we come back, I show you a last-minute decoration to add to your holiday displays. Welcome back to the center of it all. Today for our craft, we're gonna make these snowy pine cone luminaries. Now they're really simple, really easy. Everything that I needed I actually got at Walmart this time, but you can get them at the craft store. So first, you're going to need a mason jar, some fake snow. You can get snow tex. I just kind of got this Santa snow in a can, some pine cones, some different color glitter, some lace, some twine, and a hot glue gun. So let's get started. So first what we're gonna do is add the lace and the twine at the top. So we're gonna take the lid off and set that to the side. And then I just got a spool of lace from Walmart. It's kind of just a strip. So I'm going to measure around the mason jar. You want it to overlap just a little bit. Grab my scissors. Okay. Set that aside, and then you're just gonna pick which side you want to be the front or back. It doesn't really matter. I think I'm gonna start this way. Okay, so then what you're going to do, take your hot glue gun, you're gonna put a little bit of glue just right at the top in the middle of the lace. Just kind of a little strip. Then you're gonna bring your jar. Press it on in the middle. Add a little bit of glue, maybe halfway around again in the middle on the lace. Okay, and then you're gonna wrap that around near the top. Pull it pretty tight and get it as close to the rim of the mason jar as you can. Okay, then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Some twine. I got the really thin kind. It's not frayed or anything. You're just gonna take a generous amount, however much you think you need. This is gonna go wrap around the very top of it. Okay, and then you're just gonna kind of center it up, make them even, find your middle. Okay. So then you're gonna put that as close to the very top of the rim as you can get. And you're just gonna hold it there, and then you're gonna glue the twine to the lace on the back to keep it secure so it doesn't pop over the top of the jar. Okay, and then you're just gonna tie a bow. So next what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your pine cones. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of angle them towards each other like this on the jar. Add some glue. Then I'm gonna get my second pine cone. Okay, So now that they're both dry, you can see we got our pine cones, we have our bow. That's why I said you wanted to put the twine at the very top of the jar so you can kind of see the bow over the pine cones. So now that those are glued on there, we're gonna add some salt. So I also got this from Walmart. So I'd say that's about good. So now we're going to add our candle. So I have my candle, I've already trimmed the wick. To kind of get it down inside and centered, I'm going to use tongs. It's a little bit easier. Okay. So now that we have our candle, our pine cones, our lace, we're gonna head outside and add some fake snow. So you're gonna wanna hold your fake snow a couple inches away. It does come out pretty fast. You're just gonna do a couple of spurts around the top where you put all that glue on the bow and a little bit on the pine cones to give it that snowy effect. And then I like to add some glitter. Now on the first one, I just did white. On the second one, I did gold and silver. On this one, I think I'm going to add a little bit of black to my winter illuminary. So the snow will take a couple hours to dry, so I just let mine dry overnight and then I lit the candle, and that's how you get a wintry illuminary for your home. Let's leave the crafts here and head over to Nittany Beagle Rescue to see who they have for a pet of the show.
Thanks, Alicia. I'm here from Nittany Beagle Rescue with Sweetie. She's one that we got recently. She's 8 years old. She's good with kids. She's good with people. She lived with a cat before, so she's good with cats. She's a little bit selective of other dogs, so you need to introduce her a little sort of slowly. She's house trained, she's crate trained, she likes walks. The scars, she recently had some surgery, but she's fine now, and all that fur will grow back and the scars will heal and everything. She fits her name very well. She really likes to cuddle up with you. So if we could find someone to give her a permanent home, that would be fantastic.
That wraps up this week's Center of It All. Thanks so much for joining me. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next year.